Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Emily Haller and I'm here with Erkki Poutiainen from Nordea, and we're at Next Gen Banking Nordics 2016 in Helsinki. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thinking about the regulation that's impacting the businesses of payments and transaction banking, what are the regulators' objectives and how well do they align with the objectives of the businesses?
Well, I can always only say what I understand on the regulators' objectives, but firstly there are some political things and then there are some technical things that the regulator wants to support and promote. The political things are more like consumer protection, which is also technical. There's opening competition and such things like and then supporting the EU general big policies like internal market efficiency, stuff like that. But then there's the technical, which is more like other authorities, and that is like stability, security, and trustworthiness of the whole system. What then all these mean are important to the businesses as well for financial industry. So how could there be something that we want more or what we expect? I think the most important thing is predictability, so that you know what is coming, you know it's fair in sort of that it's creating a level playing field. On the other hand, one big challenge for Europe as a whole is cross-border business. For real businesses, which are financial industry customers, they are very complex issues. Even if you can do cross-border payments, the underlying business has a lot of other things that are very locally rooted, and those things, I guess, need to be looked at much more detail and also in a comprehensive way, if the aim would be, as they claim, to support European businesses.
Can one-size-fits-all regulation work? And what are the pros and cons of regulatory harmonisation?
The challenge is, of course, that the EU, we're talking about European regulation, is covering the whole region, and the whole region is not harmonious in many senses. So there's geographical aspect, and then there's, let's say, other things that the underlying reality is not harmonized. So the challenge is, of course, that if you aim to harmonize regulation, the challenge is that it treats different stakeholders in equal way. So there are cultural differences, there are habits which are different. We know very well the financial industry, the payment habits which are very, very different. The culture of how long you need to pay and stuff like that. Do you have to respect the due date, stuff like that. So those create differences in habits. Then the other one is adoption of technology in the whole society. That is very different. As we know, the difference between North and South is very, so those create the challenges for putting forward a harmonized regulation. So I think we need strongly harmonized regulation, but you have to have a long-term objectives in mind, and you have to have a roadmap to that. Also, referring back to the predictability of stuff. So that is very important. Then the other one is that there are sort of new and old players, how to treat them in an equal way if you aim to harmonizing things. This is also belonging to the same bucket of complexity.
Do you think the regulatory initiatives underway will create a level playing field for different suppliers?
This is a good question, and of course it's related to the fact that the payment market is in turbulence. The dynamics of it will change during the coming years. Already changed, but will change a lot. So as one of the aims of the regulation is to encourage competition, create conditions where open competition can be promoted, and the fact that the payment business recently has attracted a lot of new players. Mainly their focus is providing the service experience to the end user. So their focus is on that. But there's another area which is equally important or even more important, that things work, and that's the plumbing beneath the surface of the experience of the customer, of the final interface. To create a regulation that respects these responsibilities in an equal way, there's a lot of risk taking, a lot of compliance topics and stuff like that are increasing the complexity to produce and run the business, and they don't sort of focus on in a similar way to the two different stakeholder parties, or if whatever you say. However, everybody is free to do whatever, so even the plumbing people provide the end services, and that's not excluded. However, the issue is with the risk taking. So whoever sort of takes risk should also bear the responsibility. And in the payment chain where there are several players, then those ones who decide to take more risks by lowering some requirement levels should also be liable for that towards the other parties, towards the end customer. And I think this is not clear, for example, in the current PSD2 regulation. It's not really clear with the customer identification, the EID stuff, and that the requirements of strong customer authentication on different parties. So this is one of the biggest concerns, that the risk doesn't come with responsibility clearly. This is a humble requirement to the regulator. The other one is, of course, that which is also in the program of the regulator is provide more equality in cross-border business. And this is one of the pain points still, that there's so much local requirements, and this is a challenge for all EU, that the center tends to be a bit too weak against the national bodies. So the single market, efficiently working single market, is really the promoting thing for the businesses, but there's still a way to go.
That's great, thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you.
And thank you for watching.